All right. So I've already been being hounded. You guys are ridiculously impatient. Yes, obviously we're gonna do an aftermath. That gets more views than anything else. Of course we're gonna do an aftermath. Why would we not do an aftermath? Yes, it's coming. But
I like RC aftermath because it's all inside where it's warm.
yeah, it's like negative 17 outside right now. So yes, inside is good. But here we are, a 4-car aftermath after the Winter Wreckfest RC Demolition Derby.
Boy, do we have some carnage.
Yeah, we have an interesting set of cars here. You saw a little bit of them. Actually, no, you didn't. I didn't post that video, so never mind. This is your first look at them. So, Adam, we want to start with you. How'd your day go?
Let's start with me. I am RC cursed.
All right, fair enough.
I had to make a list because so much happened so quick there. So I started out in heat number 3. I was all by myself.
Yep.
In heat 3. And the very first thing that took me out, if you want to look right here, I have an extended on and off switch. So you flip this, it turns my cooling fan and everything on inside. This I've always had secured with double-sided sticky tape. And after one hit, it popped off and it fell down right here where my battery cable's laying now. On the ground, I ran over it and turned the car off. So I literally was, I think, going for less than a minute. It sure felt like less than a minute. And I walked over there and picked up my car and looked and went, oh, and flipped the switch back on, and it was disqualified because I touched the car. So heat 3 did not go so good for me to start out. Bad luck. So then they did the first 3 heats. I was the last one. We had a very short 20-minute turnaround, of which Cody and I, of course, were all trying to work on all 4 cars at the same time. 20 minutes goes by
Real fast.
so fast. It's ridiculous.
Oh, man.
Luckily, my body was in perfect shape because, like I said, I had 1 or 2 hits and I was done. So I went back out for heat 4 the second time, which was back-to-back heats for me. And in that one, I actually lost a tire off the back. We were on a plywood surface, and I was just smoking the tires so much that I actually lost the entire sidewall out of my tire, and this flew off, and the rim, the nut, the hex, everything went with it all at once. There was some little metal plates in between each piece of plywood, and they started getting some pretty tough edges, and I think I just hooked it just right, and it just blew my whole back end apart. Luckily, this car is Positrack. This is my Outlaw chassis, so I was able to keep going on just one rear tire for quite some time. Didn't last long enough though. Finally, on just the one tire, that's whenever this one flew apart, and I had no traction, nothing. So I was out of heat 4, so that put me out fairly quick there too. Got a chance to go to the last chance qualifier after that. So again, I brought it back. Very minimal body damage. As a matter of fact, I don't think I had fix-it plates anywhere on this chassis.
Body.
Oh yeah, body. I had
Nope, doesn't look like it.
no fix-it plates at all. So I snapped my headers off. Got stuck up underneath the car. I did last a lot longer in the last chance qualifier, which was great. What took me out there? Again, I made notes. Oh yeah. So you're going to be able to see that now.
Oh yeah.
Here's the chassis. If you look where my front tire is here, it obviously is flat and the car won't move. That's because I snapped the shock and everything blew apart there on me. And tire come all the way up and just dug. I mean, look at the... it's kind of probably hard to see on camera, but there's actually a groove worn right down the center of the tire where I was just giving it hell trying to get it to go. And look at how cambered in this tire is here. My front end has completely split above the fenders, all held together fairly well in the front. Completely split apart up here too. So really from here forward is separate on a hinge point. The rest of the car is in great shape here. And the back end, lost pretty much everything underneath here, and luckily you had the rear chassis bumper on, and that kind of stopped the rest, and she popped out right there. So overall design of this wagon, man, I would really love to find a way to make them stronger right here, but as Cody and I have figured out on every single build, that is always the weak spot. We do have a new 2019 design for the One Goose Garage, and I'm hoping that helps. We haven't got a chance to run it yet, though. We got a few of them flying off the shelves. We're going to try it as well. The back end, I'm okay with that the way it is. I don't think
Yeah, that
that's
would
an
have come
issue.
in. I mean,
Yep, it didn't go down.
not
I
really a
think
whole
it
lot
was,
more you'd have to do there.
yeah, starting to go up. I think the 9-wire really helped a lot, to be honest.
Of course, absolutely.
It really did.
I mean,
but,
kind of losing the pillars here, but you know, whatever. You don't need those.
Don't need that at all. So that was it for me. It was a fun day. I made it 3 rounds then, but not enough to go to the feature.
All right, so next we will go to my truck.
What's left of it?
Oh yeah, what's left of it? This is actually your first time seeing this truck. This was actually my Christmas present from Adam. Pretty cool. He saw we were building the trucks in the garage, so we thought, hey, what the hell? Let's throw together a truck, and we'll run that. So it is not sitting. Disclaimer: it is not sitting on the chassis that I ran, and the reason that I'm going to tell you that is because these mounts are still intact. So back up a little bit. We go out for heat 1. I was in heat 1.
You were in heat 1.
And was running on one of the first couple hits. Both of these mounts ripped out. So the front of the car, I didn't have a skid plate underneath. Front of the car, flopping around. I didn't care. I was still going. On that same car, so I lasted a little while in that heat.
Yeah.
Cruising around, making hits, of course, doing everything I can. And I don't know if it was, I mean, I haven't seen it before. Maybe it's because the cars were so cold that morning. I took a hit in the back and actually broke the bottom of this shock tower. This whole piece broke. Well, what happens when that gives out? This pressure, Adam's throwing stuff, calm down over there. This pressure all comes up, both back tires raise up. Motor sits on the plywood, back tires just spin. I was kind of scooting around for a little bit, but
Yeah, you can tell.
not long.
Well, this wasn't technically.
That's probably the tire because I switched them around. So yeah, we burned them off.
We burned tires hard.
So I went back out for heat 5.
The first time you were in heat 1, then you went to heat 5.
All right, so I'll go back out for heat 5. We had super glued these mounts back in place, but it took me the entire 20 minutes to get that shock tower changed out. So we didn't have a chance to put a skid plate on underneath it. Went back out for heat 2, heat 5, sorry, my heat 2. Made a few hits. Once again, the body separated, was bouncing around pretty bad. I saw cars when they hit me, they were getting in by my electronics and stuff. I'll be 100% honest, guys. I shut it down and said I'll take that thing to the consi because she's going to get hurt worse than I'm going to be able to fix in the time we have to fix it. So
Right.
I went back out to the consi. Actually, finally got to make some decent hits. We had the skid plate on at that point. But downfall you have when the front of your car right here is held on underneath, but your 2 mounts aren't in place.
It makes a great leverage point right
All
here.
the pressure goes right about there. So not only did mine rip, it completely separated
You
from
had
the
just a
body.
cage. Lost
But it
the
didn't care. I kept making hits.
Yeah.
Didn't have any problems at all. Made it to somewhere mid-pack. And I actually managed to... Do we have one of those rims? Probably not.
What's that?
One of the plastic ones that I was running in the back.
I have.
Yeah, that's the general idea. That's actually the same one.
I've had that happen to 3.
I stripped the inside of a tire. Mine is not Positrack, so path of least resistance. That axle was just spinning. Wasn't any any actual movement happening, so that ended my day. Next,
Overall, on your body, next time whenever we do it, this is a new. You got whacked in the roof a couple times.
yeah, absolutely.
You know,
My roof was damn near touching the chassis.
Yeah, this is a new design with a weighted roof. All right.
Oh, actually, hold on. Let's see. Is there anything on the back? Overall, I'd say that held up
Yeah, I
pretty
think
good.
the back held in really well. Actually.
Verdict. Actually, hold on. Let's back up. Adam, will your car run again?
Professionally, no.
Professionally, Jesus Christ.
In an actual.
For money.
No, I don't believe so.
If I have to run it, I'll run again for money.
I mean, with this completely separated, exactly like yours is, it's going to take a heck of a fix-it plate, and unfortunately, most of the for money shows that we do
No, we can go to one of Aaron's club events.
You have to reclip it at that point, so we
That's
have
fine.
to just put
Yeah, we'll
the
do
body
that.
from here
So
forward.
this car will run again.
Cody will drive.
This truck will run again. I'm gonna just put some more rivets back in there, one plate, and we'll go run her again.
Next.
Miss Kim.
Oh, man. Talk about smiling and proud. Look at what she did to this thing.
And beat to hell. Holy Christ. All right,
This is
give
by
us the
far-
lowdown.
All right, so she was in Heat 1, and I actually put her out there with, this was practically brand new. The Traxxas, just a regular NIMH 5000 MAH. So this is not a LiPo battery. Everyone out there uses a LiPo battery. And we thought, you know what? You go out there, you drive like we do, and they're fairly short heats. These will get you by all day long. I believe Cody and I actually used a couple of these down last year whenever we went and did one of Aaron's shows. However, whenever you drive good enough to do this, you drive good enough to melt a battery.
Yes, absolutely. It was.
Kim was laying it on hot enough that the plastic, the label, and everything actually shriveled up and was melting. And I pulled it out of there immediately, and one of the tech guys looked at me and said, "Did that just come out of that car?" And I said, "Yeah, why?" He goes, "And it lasts that long?" So I was proud of this battery. Ultimately, yes, round one, this battery got way too hot. Car was tuned perfectly, though. She was just flying across the track. Unfortunately, into the wall most shots. But she was just rocking it, and battery died. Took her out round one. Body repairs
she had
were
made it
needed.
fairly.
Yeah, yep. She was not the first one out. Actually, she did fairly well in the Heat 1. So she went back out for Heat 6. So she was actually one of the lucky ones that went very first and very last as far as heats go.
And she only hit me like 17 times in one, so that wasn't too bad.
I swear, it's usually Cody versus Kim every time I go out there. And people are worried about us teaming up with each other.
Yeah, exactly.
We hit each other more than anything. So Heat 6, what took her out there? She actually did the same thing I did and blew a sidewall completely out of the tire. You know what? We should have rotated these. Between heats, normally we take the fronts off and put them in the back because the fronts have no torque to them and it gives you fresh tires in the back. We were, again, in such a hurry to work on 4 cars, we didn't swap any of the tires out. And unfortunately, we paid the price in the second heats with her and I both losing tires like that. She also lost a shock in that heat, and her front tire, as you can see again, the line right down the center, was bound up into the sheet metal all the way back here without the shock. We were able to just put a new shock on for her when she came back in the pits. She actually broke the skid plate off. This is the second skid plate she had. So she broke that off as well. But as you can see, this was actually an FTS body that Sean had made for us. And
I'd say it did all right.
Yeah, we picked it up in Blizzard Bash, and I mean, I think it's the hardest one of those bodies have ever been driven, if you ask me.
That's probably true. She beat the hell out of that thing.
We got fix-it plates like crazy. We were allowed 6, and we just kept stacking them in the same spot. You weren't allowed to double layer them, but I don't think anybody mentioned anything about run it once in that spot and put a second one over it the next time you come in. Look at this. This is awesome.
Yeah, that's about as good of a back end you're going to see
That
on
sucker
an RC
folded up perfect. I mean, absolutely beautiful. During the feature, she actually made it to the feature, or she went to the Consi then after that. So 2 heats, a Consi. She did good enough in the Consi that...
she was one of the 4 out of 17?
At least 17 or 19 cars. One of the 4. She actually made it all the way. Got to go to the feature, and we broke... It's the first time we've ever broken RPM part.
Yep, broken RPM carrier.
Broken RPM carrier. Tire laid over, and she was still going for a little bit, and then of course, as you can tell, the drive shaft just finally blew itself apart here, and it come out. So this tire, look,
same thing.
another one.
Cow.
We got another one here. Yeah, we should have rotated these.
That's
but I mean,
awesome.
just completely blowing sidewalls out, no longer attached anywhere. This side of the back end, sorry.
You're good.
We actually had wired it up to try to get some help to keep it going up just like you would in a full-size car. But it was nice because here's the back bumper at such an angle that people were hitting here, making really good hits she was. And then if she hit somebody with this, it was starting to create a little bit of a ramp. So she was able to scoop a couple people up. I was really proud to see that. Unfortunately, whenever this side stays down like that, though, it starts digging into the tire. So she started getting hung up a little bit there in the end. And around here, you know what? This is everyone has made some comments about Sean's design with this drop cage, and I tell you what, I really like it. I feel like it held the shell together perfect. I think in any RC car, your weak points are going to be behind and in front of the cage. That's the reason the
And
rules
we
are the
still
way
see
they
that.
are.
I memean,
Yep.
Sean's been doing a hell of a job building bodies, and
Absolutely.
that's still where it ripped.
Yep,
So
all the way across and back up to the front end. I mean, this is the bumper.
well,
Chassis.
this is the bumper.
Chassis bumper inside here from the Raptor chassis bumper, and there's the stock bumper. This actually, she busted it in half, and I had to plate it back together twice too. So
Oh man,
look
awesome
at
job.
Look at the stance on that thing. I mean, it was nice. It was low. She's just flying all over the place, and I mean, quick. That car was set up right. Weight wise, it was in where it needed to be. I got some weight issues in my chassis. I think with those hardened steel axles and stuff, I've got disproportionate weight, and it's kind of
All right, so
causing a lot of spin.
we'll take one step back to this side of the table again. Out in the heat. Last chance qualifier, didn't make it. Didn't have enough points to make the feature after the 2 heats. Out in the heat, not enough points. Go to the Consi, last chance qualifier, whatever you want to call it. Didn't make it out of the Consi, didn't make it to the feature. Heat, not enough points. Goes to the last chance qualifier, Consi, makes it to the feature.
Top
finishes. Where about she finished in the feature?
In the feature, she finished 17th.
So, not too bad.
No,
After having to
there
do
was 19 cars, so I mean,
having to do 4 friggin' rounds.
right? Yeah, she did the most rounds out of everybody for the day.
All right, Nikki.
Holy smokes! Look at how realistic.
All right, Nikki was in heat 3,
I got it down here.
all by herself, no friends.
Yeah.
No, she's in heat 2.
Heat 2.
Because you were in heat 3.
I was
All
in
right,
heat 3, yep.
all by herself. She didn't have one of us out there with her. She was frustrated. This is only her second time driving a Traxxas/RC car at all. She's
The first time was in my basement.
yeah, first time was like right over there somewhere, and she managed to actually rip down a closet door, put a hole in the wall. And she broke the car, so she couldn't continue to practice. So
Right.
part of it, I guess. So she goes out for the heat,
In heat, she blew her motor.
burnt the damn thing up.
Yep.
So when you have somebody that doesn't know what they're doing and is doing a lot of back and forth, real quick back and forth, I use stock motors in both of my chassis, so she managed to burn the motor up. Part of it, I guess. I did that in my first show too. Fixed it. She goes back out for heat 2.
She wins the damn thing.
Wins the damn thing. She's one of the top 4. Now, hold on, back up. Heat 1, I believe she took 5th, so she was the last
She
one
was
out.
the last one out right before. Yep.
So we knew she had a decent amount of points. She goes back out, wins in Heat 2. She has enough points. She's the only one out of the 4 of us that makes it to the damn feature. She doesn't have to go to the last chance.
Kim made it
qualifier.
to the feature after winning the LCQ.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
So in the end, the guys got to watch the girls go to the feature.
Exactly. We both suck. They managed to make it into the
We've
feature.
heard about that for hours now.
Uh-huh. Yeah, absolutely. It's not ending. I bet you Nikki is watching this video right as soon as it hits the damn air because she wants to hear how much shit we're talking about her. So, overall, I can tell you that I patched this twice. I can't tell you when or where. That part was kind of a blur. I can tell you that her body mounts managed to stay intact, and you can see the skid plate worked. It was held on. It has since fallen off, and where it's
She nosed up really hard. I mean, there's no fenders
they just
left
pulled the
there.
whole body out of it. That's the part that matters anyway. Look at that. Just nose straight
That
up
was
in the air.
twin to mine when she started too.
Oh man, this thing was just pounded.
The difference is, I believe, yeah, she ran with no rear chassis bumper on with the wagon style, which is a little different than what we normally do. Just to see, to be honest, I think it did fine.
So after the first heat that she was in, I do remember both of her rear pillars, actually all of her pillars, because they're still not attached.
Yep, her roof was not attached.
Her roof was attached by one rivet, kind of flopping around. So I sedagged it. Adam said, just put the whole roof down to the body. I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And then I did these last ones, and I was like, well, hell, I can't do that, because you've got to be able to mount the thing right there back to the chassis. So I've got this flat thing. I was like, all right, well, I'll just pop it up right here, and, well, there we go. Now we got a snagging. The back of it did eventually kind of blow apart, but overall it had held up for quite a ways. By the time this thing was done, she was hitting with the plastic Traxxas bumper on the front and the motor on the back. There wasn't a whole lot of anything else left. In her second heat, I do remember the back of the car would push into the tires, and she'd be really slow. You could tell it was struggling, and then she'd get hit, and it would kind of pop a little bit, and then she'd start flying again. Driving skills definitely came a long damn ways from heat 1 to feature, and she managed to finish with a DQ in there. She finished 6th.
6th? Okay,
after the DQ.
Yep.
So
1 out of the money.
Yeah, exactly. Managed to just miss it. So
first time ever driving in competition, and second time ever holding a Traxxas remote in her hands.
And being pissed trying to run that controller.
She didn't know how to use reverse for the first 3 minutes of the heat.
Yeah.
She finally asked.
You got to hit it twice.
What is reverse on here?
Yeah. All right.
Oh,
so
I had a blast. What a good time.
It was a great time. Everybody had a ton of fun. Thank you, Aaron. He did a hell of a job. You're probably not watching the video to this point anyway, so overall, definitely a great show. I will definitely be there if you have that event again next year. Hope the folks that own the Burnett Hall were happy with how we kept things together.
I went and found that guy, shook his hand, and said, "This is awesome." It was a really nice place. We were indoors. Random people stopped by all day, which was pretty cool. I think they were having a poker run for snowmobile guys.
Yeah, absolutely, and they stopped in. Everybody was extremely fascinated about what we do. Couldn't believe that we
Aren't
take
those expensive?
Exactly.
Yeah, and you're just gonna wreck them?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
And then do it again.
And then put them back together and do it again.
That's what we do. So, as always, we've got some things that we learned. There's a lot that's going to be changed. I'm sure Adam's brain's going 1,000,000 miles an hour with new body ideas, and that's about it. We're at 22 minutes, guys. Holy cow. You wanted an aftermath? There it is.
4-car RC aftermath.
You won't be seeing any videos from us
for last year's cars. Do you think we made a little bit of an improvement this year? Body damage.
I'd say there's a little bit of
That's Kim's car from last year. That's just time 22 minutes, I don't care. Look at that.
A little bit of a difference, huh?
Look at that. Wow.
That's awesome. All right, guys.
Great job.
Appreciate you following along. Teaser. One Goose Promotions has been launched. If you made it to this long, appreciate you following along as always.
Get goosed.